kind of rules are you talking about? I set the rules in terms of when we do things. I set the rules in terms of how things should be done. It's my household. I am king in my house. When the rules are in place, the household functions well.
Tough Men Talk.
Hi, my name is David Mashabela. South Africa is dealing with some of the highest levels of gender-based violence. I've always wondered what South African men have to say about this. I have decided to interview myself and play the character of a South African man.
Tough Men Talk.
Today in the studio, we are sitting with Ndate Petros Makena. He believes that society is not the same anymore. A lot has changed, and he believes it's changed for the worse. Ndate Makena, how are you? Thank you for the invitation. It's a subject that troubles me greatly. What exactly is this thing that troubles you so much about society today? Because I think society has changed and society is going in the wrong direction. And we are carrying on like there's nothing wrong. I see this and I hear some of my friends and I listen to them, and sometimes I don't comment. I just listen to these men and I say, hey, these are weak men. These are soft men. Men have become soft. What do you mean when you say men have become soft? They are weak. And how does that impact on gender-based violence? Let me tell you, Mr. Mashabel, in my household, I am the king. It may be small, but I rule in my household. The rules are mine, and my rules have to be obeyed. Obeyed to the latter. No part of my rules should be disobeyed. What kind of rules are you talking about? You sound like you're running a prison. Let me give you an example. We eat at a particular time in my household. We eat around the table in my household. There's certain things that are important. I set the rules in terms of when we do things. I set the rules in terms of how things should be done. It's my household. I am king in my house. I set the rules of how money should be spent. I set the rules whether we are happy to be in this neighborhood or we're moving to a different. I set the rules which car we buy. I set the rules when it's time to change a car. It's my household. I am king, and my rules are my rules. Do you behave like this even when you're dating? Because I don't think you'll get away with it if it's just you're not married to this person. Help me understand that. It's a very interesting question that I remember years ago when I was much younger, I introduced rules in my relationship while I was still dating this lady. They didn't work. She knew it all. She was what they call a feminist. I said, hey, I'm not going to date this one. I left there. But then I learned from that, you have to be tactful when you introduce the rules. The rules are easier when you introduce them after you've married them. They are stuck with you, Chief. They are stuck with you. You can't leave. So with my current wife, I introduced the rules after the marriage. Day one, Chief. Day one. The day after marriage, she already knew at least 20% of the rules. Then you introduce them one step at a time. What we do when, where we live. Those are your rules, Chief. It's your household. You are the leader. I told you, you are the king in this house. I told my wife when she fell pregnant with our first boy that maybe she should stop working and look after the child. She wasn't happy. I said, it's going to happen. These are my rules. It's going to happen. No woman of mine will work. I will go and dig for gold and bring it home. That's why I also control the purse, the funds in the household. I know everything. That's a rule. These rules are old, Chief. My wife toes the line. We have 3 sons. She's still home. She is looking after the boys. That's my rule. What they eat, when they eat, what they wear, those are my rules, Chief. Yo. I want you to always know this, that these rules, they make a strong household. I'll try like a to blind. But tell me, Dr. McKenna, where do you get these rules? Because you behave like you own people, you own things. It's a little stringent and a little unexpected and unacceptable in my opinion. I have learned these rules from my father. And I knew that this is how a household is run. My father's voice was the loudest. You could hear my father's heels walking across the house like he ruled the place. His heels, every time he walked, they were the loudest. All of us tiptoed around him. But one thing that I learned from that was that you run a household that functions well. You run a household where nothing gets out of line. Nothing irritates you. Nothing. Because when people do wrong things, you shapampa masan, quick, Kori, you can't mess with me. But you realize it makes you less abusive because with time, the sheep will always be in line, Chief. They'll know where to go. And they will never be out of line. And you become a peaceful person. You inherently become a nice guy. But once in a while, something will irritate you. Yes, once in a while, something will irritate you from outside. You'll bring it home and you realize that you're making a mistake. However, when the rules are in place, the household functions well. I can tell you, my wife is loyal, Chief. I know where she is now. Right now, I know exactly where she is. And I can almost tell you, what time is it? I can almost tell you what she's doing. These rules are old now. They're entrenched in the system. And I tell my boys the same things, that you can't run a household without rules. Women must be submissive, Chief. Women must toe the line. Women must listen to a leader. Imagine a household that is leaderless. These young men today, these democratic, happy-clappy type of approach to running a household where you ask for advice from your wife to make decisions that are men decisions. You can't. You have to announce when you're about to do something. You can't. Comrade, I want you to appreciate this. Rules must be obeyed in a household. And those rules must be set by a man, by the father. You're the leader. You're the one that tells them, we turn left, right, or we don't move. Imagine, there'll be chaos if everyone has an opinion. Those are my rules, and that's my household.
Tough Men Talk.